I'll turn it all off. Yeah, you can do it.
The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good evening, my name is Nikki Moore. Welcome to the QLS Rolling Training Programme, Week 3 with myself and Martina. Sorry about that. Week 3, prospecting for diamonds, additional methods, sending info and follow-up, the one-to-one presentation, building a successful pipeline. Review of week 2, dream board and goal book, profiling and contacting, new customers, 100 who do you know list, and points recording sheet. Prospecting for diamonds, alternative methods. Methods of prospecting. Continue with your contact list. Facebook, Twitter and other social media can be used. Contact marketing and people shopping. Contact marketing and people shopping, this is something we can do easily while you're out shopping, walking the dog, going to schools, toddler groups, etc. Face-to-face conversations that you do when you're at the school gates or shopping, the same as contact marketing. Cards and flyers you can obtain from QLS online, and there are also other compliant flyers you can get through your upline. Also available are Dear Neighbour letters for you to print out and personalise from the files on the group page. Pup boxes. You can get your pup boxes out to people that you know, family, friends and neighbours, and let them use the products. That's a good way of prospecting people to get your products and your business out there. Local shows and exhibitions, you can book tables at school fairs, local shows and all that sort of thing. Referrals, if you ask friends and family to refer you to people that they know, either for the business or for products. So if they've used the products and they love them, get them to refer you so that you can get more sales. Local advertising. If you go to your local corner shops, co-ops, Morrison's, all those type of places have little places to advertise business. You can just pop a card in there. Some corner shops are only like 20 pence a week, something like that, and some places like the larger supermarkets are for free, so you can use those for advertising. Product launches. You can have a product launch at home, invite all your families and your friends and friends of friends. If you can't have it at home, maybe you think it's not big enough, you can have it around other people's houses, friends' houses. Some people have even been known to use their local pub. If you can get permission for that, you could probably invite more people through the doors and get a launch that way. Satisfied customers. Once you have a small group of customers that you're selling products to and they're happy with the products, you can introduce them to the business, because quite a few people that have joined this business just by using the products to start with, so that's a good way to get people into the business. Talks to groups, example WI, Rotary and charities, etc. And join networking clubs. If you join a networking club, you can use these for gaining tips and information on how others work and new ideas. That would be before you prospect them for your business. You could just get tips on how they work things and how they work their businesses, etc. If you use 3 methods of all of these marketing ideas for prospecting, you're guaranteed for success. And if one doesn't work, you can always replace it with another one on the list. Contact face-to-face marketing. Engaging in casual conversation with people to find out if there's some interest in looking at what we do. use your business cards or prospecting cards and flyers as a conversation opener. On the back of our business cards, we've got 9 motivating facts. For example, we've got extra income and retirement. That's just sort of 2 out of the 9. And this idea comes from the Alan Pease book, Questions Are the Answers. So what we do is we look at the back of our business card and we can just ask them, do you know why people start a networking business? And the beauty of the question is that they'll give you a no, and that gives you permission to say, let me show you. So then you can, and at that point, you can produce your list on the back of your card and you can introduce them to the business that way. That's just a small idea. Just make it simple, duplicatable, effective and fun. Richard Ingleby, Senior Manager, builds his business by contact marketing, and he has an income from over 12 countries and he's massive in Africa. Be prepared. Make sure that when you go out, you always have your business cards on you. Doesn't matter where you're going. You could be walking the dog. You could just be popping to the corner shop for a pint of milk. Always make sure you've got a business card on you because you never know who you're going to bump into. A small notebook and pen, that will be useful for jotting down people's names, phone numbers, email addresses, etc. Smart attire. At the end of the day, it's your business. You can't really prospect somebody or expect them to take you seriously if you go out in your jog pants and your trainers. So always wear something reasonably smart or something that looks nice, so that when they look at you, it's not just about listening to what you've got to say, because they do look at you and what you're wearing. Have a great attitude. Attitude is everything in this business. If you're excitable and smiley and everything, they buy into you, but they won't buy into somebody who's grumpy and miserable and not very chatty. If you can't do going out on your own to speak to people, you can always buddy up with somebody in the team and then maybe have a little competition to see who can get the most phone numbers or the most conversations or whatever. Where? Anywhere and everywhere. If you go shopping to the town centre, whatever you're shopping for, clothes or shoes or anything, you can always get into a conversation there about something. Mums and toddler groups are a great place because you have a young child and so is everybody else in that room, so it's always a good conversation starter about your child and other people's children. Hospitals and health centres are a good place. Maybe you have an appointment or maybe you're going to an appointment with somebody else, but you can generally get into a conversation there with somebody. Stations, I don't know, petrol stations, train stations, all those sort of areas where there's lots of people. At exhibitions and shows and conferences, it maybe you've got a table at an exhibition or a show or something, but you can always go around and swap information with other people that do different things with different businesses, just wherever there are people, basically. What to say? Pay a compliment. Thank you for helping me today with your attitude. You'd be great in my business. So really it depends on the situation that you're in. So if you're, I don't know, at a restaurant and you've had somebody that served you really, really well with the food and they've gone out of their way to make everything perfect for you and what have you, you can just say something like that. Thank you, for your service is great. You can leave them a business card. Ask questions and respond with positive information about forever. The most important thing here is when you ask questions and people answer you, the best thing to do is listen. Be a really good listener to everything they have to say to you. That way you'll find out what their hot button is. I am expanding my business in this area and I'm looking for 5 people who would like to earn £1,000 a month part-time in the next 4 months. Excuse me, I wonder if you could help me. We're raising the profile of our company in the area and I would like to give you some info if I may. Or can I give you my card? Or you can follow up with whatever you say. If you choose one of the above or not, you can also refer back to your First Steps to Manager book. There's a lot of phrases and help and tips in that as well. A very good tip from Andy Waring as well was when you speak to people and then you want to get their personal information, ask for their email address first, as most people are more likely to give their email address than they are a phone number. So if you ask them for an email address and they're writing it down for you, ask them then for the phone number and they're more likely to give you their phone number once they've given you an email address. We don't know why it works that way, but it does. So give that a try next time you're out and about if you're struggling to get personal phone numbers off of people. When asked, what do you do? There's a list of things here that you can use to say to people if you're not sure what to say when they ask you what you do. We show people how to develop a second income stream. We show people how to develop work-life balance. We show people how to start their own very lucrative home-based business. We mentor people to earn a substantial income. We show people how to build their own highly successful home-based business in the health and wellness sector. Would that be of interest to you? There's a whole list of other things that you could say. It's whatever you're comfortable with, really. You could say, I'm a professional network marketer. You could just say, I own my own health and wellness business. Any of those things you can say, whatever you're comfortable with. Now I'm going to hand you over to Jo Martina. Just unmuted Jo. Jo, can you hear me?
Hello, can you hear me?
Hi, I can hear you. I'm just going to mute myself. You can go now, Jo.
Hello, can we have the next slide? Brilliant, can you do the next slide? Thank you. As this slide says, remember the fortune is in the follow-up. If you talk to somebody and you say to them, you know, I'll give you a call tomorrow or I'll send you some information tomorrow, always make sure that you do, because it's about building trust and building a relationship. And if you don't do it, if something happens and you said you're going to call but you've got an ill child, still call at that time, but just explain that there's a problem and could you call them a bit later. If you don't, people lose trust and faith in you very, very quickly. The longer that you leave it, of course, it's likely that the prospect will lose interest, because if they've chatted to you and really liked what you had to say, you have given them some energy and some excitement. If you leave it a week, it's too late. Know your objective. You have to start, as I've just said, the relationship building process. It might be that if you can add them on Facebook, which is an amazing thing to do, you can just say to somebody, are you on Facebook? Find yourself and add me. Straight away, before you have that call, you can profile them. You can get on there, you can have a little look, you can see what their life is, you can see they've got children, you can see where they live, how many friends they've got. So if they've got 800 friends already on Facebook, you know they're going to be a good prospect, so you can start chatting about, you know, a good network, etc. When you arrange that one-to-one, again, make sure it's, you know, it's mutually beneficial to you both where it is. You can also send through information. So as we know, you can send through links about products. If your conversation was about a product, say bee pollen or something, you can also arrange for them to view your DVD or your online business presentation. But obviously, the one-to-one is the key element of getting somebody to sign, because they buy into you. Next slide, please. What to say? So this is, hi Sam, it's Jane. We met briefly at the travel exhibition yesterday. I'm calling you as I've promised to tell you a little bit about what we are, what we do, and the kind of people that we're looking for. Is it now a good time? Always say that to people, because I've had it before when people's called me and literally I'm drowning in something and, you know, you just can't talk, so you rush somebody through. So once you ask that, you'll know then that it is right. Before I take you through all of that, it would be really helpful for me if I could just ask you a couple of quick questions. Again, if you've added them on Facebook, you'll have quite a good idea of these answers already. So where are you based? Are you currently working? Married, single, family? In an ideal world, what would you like to be doing? Tell me what has made you respond to my card or advert, or, you know, if it is a card or advert, obviously. Thank you for that. Let me tell you a little bit about us. So this is about building rapport. Now, when you are asking those questions, sometimes if you're nervous, you want to jump in and talk more. Really try and just sit and listen to those answers and take notes, because at a later date, when you go along, if that lady sat and told you all about she's got 3 kids and this and that, and then you meet her for that one-to-one and you've forgotten all that, it really goes down badly. So take notes and really, really listen. Next slide, please. Your cards and flyers, when they're used consistently, they do generate good results. Again, don't, you know, try and use your own brains trying to make the most amazing flyers. QLS have got some brilliant mums ones. Within our team and team pages, girls have done some really good ones. Just find ones that you really like and that you think will suit you and the area that you're going to go into, and then bespoke them to you. Get them out there. On a Jane Leach recruiting training that we did, she said that, you know, everybody should be doing 3 or 4 types of prospecting, not just cards and flyers, and definitely not just Facebook. So when you're out there, you know, just use those as a conversation opener. Just literally hand them to everybody. You can go to your neighbours, put them through letterboxes, create that paper trail, because sometimes, let's say you've got your local cafe and you leave them in the toilet area or behind the door. Somebody might pick that up the first time, but then what happens is they might bin it. But then when they go back a month later, they'll see it again and think, oh, do you know what? That girl's obviously still in the business. She's still, whatever this is obviously something decent. I'm going to call. I'm going to, you know, I'm going to do it. It's about timing for people. When you give out a card, it absolutely does work. I mean, you know, 100%. I mean, there's top people, as it says on here, who have joined this business through picking up a card. The card has to suit the person, so it would be no good getting a load of mum's cards and leaving them in the local gentleman's club. You know, they're not interested, they wouldn't look. So just really think about having a couple of types of cards. Next one, please. Prospecting with cards and flyers, again, it's just covered what I've just said. It's your different types. As I say, you know, same thing. Go for what you like and what you think your network is going to be. Next slide, please. Building a successful pipeline. Now, how I describe this to my team is, your pipeline is imagine you've got a back garden and it is totally bare, just soil. That is where we are when we all come into our business. Now, when we as managers say to our team, you know, contact your 3 to 5 a day, touch base with them, it's all about this pipeline, and you'll hear this over and over and over. Now, the way I describe it is, imagine this bare garden. that every day you are planting 3 to 5 seeds every day. Now, every one of these seeds on paper is just a name, and they all look exactly the same. But as we know, no two people are the same. So you're going to plant those seeds into your garden. Over the course of a week, you've probably planted 20, 25 seeds. Now, the week later, that's 50 seeds. Now, at some point, some of those seeds are going to die off because that's what happens. Some are going to start to grow. Now, of some of those, they're going to turn into the most beautiful flowers that are also going to pollinate and grow you a whole new set of seeds and a whole new set of flowers. So this is why building this successful pipeline is so important. Any of you that aren't doing those 3 to 5, unfortunately what happens is your garden stays bare, quite literally. So you can't ever stop doing it. Even, we've got, 100 odd people in our downline, we can't stop doing it. It has to just keep going, keep going. So what your pipeline is doing, so every time you go out and you say get to the supermarket checkout, and the lady seems really, really lovely, just give her your card. The next time, don't go to her, go to another lady, just give your card, because you just don't know where it's going to lead you. You really, really don't. So this is your pipeline tracker, and this is literally, as it shows you, it's the name, whether they're warm or cold, and just putting in the information about that person in your comments. But what you also have to do, and if any of you read GoPro, you'll know what I'm talking about. For somebody to join your team, you have to do what is called exposures. So ideally, you need to get those done in succession. So the first one would be the conversation. The second one will be the phone call. The next one will hopefully be either the online business presentation or the one-to-one. Maybe the next one would be the live BP. And at that point then, they should have enough information to make a decision. Now, that's what this pipeline tracker is about. It's so that you don't miss any of those stages. Next slide, please. Again, this is the same thing as already just said. It's building that successful pipeline. So imagine, a year from now, you could have 500 seeds out in that garden. You will then have at least 10, 15, 20, 30 team members. But all the ones that you planted in the very, very beginning that were lukewarm, not interested right now, what they are going to be doing is sitting and watching you. And when they, when they see your success and your team grow and your positive feeds that you're going to be using your Facebook to showcase your lifestyle, all of a sudden seeds just pop. Ones that you didn't ever expect and that you thought were an absolute no, pop, and they come to you. So this is what this is referring to. Obviously, if you're somebody that says you want to earn £2,000 a month, you're going to want to commit to the higher level of prospects. So that means you've got to send out more messages, and it means you've got to give out more cards, because, the more work that you're putting in, the more rewards that you are getting back. Next slide, please. Now, the one-to-one. My first thing that I say to anybody on my team is please watch the one-to-one with John Curtis. What you see when you watch that video, it's in QLS, it is amazing. Watch it over and over and take notes, because what you are learning from watching that is the one-to-one is literally all about rapport. So, people often make a decision about whether they like somebody within about the first 2 to 3 minutes of chatting to you. So if you come along and you're, late, or you're scruffy, or you've got baby porridge all over you, or, all of those things, you've created already an idea of what you're going to be like. And that could be really wrong. You could just be having a bad day. So obviously the preparation is important. One of the other things I would say is, as we all know, a lot of people, you think they are absolutely going to meet you and they don't. So the night before, always make that call and just say, or the text, and say, are you still okay for tomorrow? Because there's nothing worse than being let down. There's nothing worse whatsoever. And you feel very, very, very deflated if you get there and they don't turn up. One of the things is, as it says, the introduction. If you listen to any of the training, what they always say is give a compliment, because what that does is it just breaks the ice. You might be saying, oh wow, I love your hair, it's a lovely hair colour, whatever it is, what a lovely shirt, that looks lovely against your skin, or blouse, or whatever, just think of something. Again, be warm, or if it's a coffee shop, offer a free drink. Say, would you like a coffee? Now, when you're talking through the opportunity, again, this is where the John Curtis one-to-one really, really comes into play. When you are doing, when you are a network marketer, again, touch base with what Nikki's already said. I can't stress enough how important the book is, Questions Are the Answers by Alan Pease, because he simplifies what we have to do as a business and to be successful. And basically, you have to learn how to melt the ice. So when you meet somebody new, the compliment helps to melt the ice. The chit chat, again, you've profiled them, so you've tried to work out a little bit about them. If you're somebody that's into horoscopes, you might have looked and seen what their star sign is. You know, some people are quite hard to break into. Some are very open. You know, try to work them out. And again, you'll be doing that in that phone call. Now, once you've melted the ice, it's finding that hot button. Now, again, that is about that person's why. That would be the reason why they would be likely to join you. So when you find that, you are quite literally 3/4 of the way there. So if they say, I spend 3 hours a day stuck in traffic, well, of course, you're going to say, we work from home. I'm sitting on my laptop in the morning whilst I've got Good Morning Britain on, or whatever it's called, and I'm working. Oh my God, seriously, are you doing that? Yeah, this is what we all do. You know, so you're making you're making all the elements of the business fit them. And they've actually answered those and told you that information as well, because, you know, you're asking the right questions. When you talk through the opportunity, do not overcomplicate it. I find personally, don't talk about parties, don't talk about pamper parties or anything like that, because people think, oh, they couldn't imagine themselves doing it. When you also match the business to them, it feels like they can do it. You know, you're going to keep it very, very simple. One of the other things is when you then need to get the commitment, you have chatted to them. And again, this comes out of the book. So obviously, some of you that's read this are probably thinking, oh, I know this. What you say to them is, if you was going to start a new business from home, and you have this on a card, and there's in this card, this is the list. Which of these would be your reason for wanting to join our company and have your own home business? Would it be, and you show them this all written down, extra income, financial freedom, have your own business, more spare time, personal development, helping others, meeting new people, retirement, or to leave a legacy? Now, from the answers that they give you, the rest of your meeting will be based around that. So if they are somebody that are talking about retirement, you would then say, oh, is there a problem with your company with retirement, with the retirement plan? And of course, they go into details. All of this is melting the ice. Now then, at the end of the conversation, when you finish, you'll be saying, for your closing of it, you'll be saying, you know, are you interested in joining? You know, what do you like about it? What's the best bits? If then somebody says to you, no, it's not for me, one of the things that a part of our training says is say, okay, I understand that, that's fine. Can you think of anybody else that you think would like it? And they'll obviously give you that answer. But then what you'll say is, in your current life of commuting 3 hours a day and of your poor retirement plan that you currently have, what plan have you got in place to change that? And they will go, oh, I haven't. Say, okay, I know this isn't for you now, but obviously have a think about it, and we'll see what happens in the future. Because what you've basically done is you've planted a seed, which is they may not be interested in what we're doing, but actually they don't have an alternative plan either. That for me has worked 2 or 3 times. People have then come back to me a week later and gone, do you know what, you're right, I can't see a way out of this, I'm going to give it a go. Next slide, please. Homework 7-day plan. I'm guessing that this slide is referring to each of us as individuals. When we are obviously in our team, what we do every Sunday is as managers we chat together and we work out what we want the team to do for the next week. So we pass on that information to each of our team members. Now that would be, you're going to decide for the next 7 days what your 3 methods would be. So for example, if you've got a really hellish week print off the activity tracker that's got all your times on it and write in what you can do. So in that week, it might be that you're going to work out that you're going Tesco, so you know you could give out some cards on your way around while you're shopping or whatever. So basically map out your week of how you're going to get this prospecting done. Order your business cards, you know, bite the bullet, get on QLS, order some of the other cards, continue making all of your prospect calls. You know, don't ever stop that. Remember this as well, when you get no's, which we all do, every no that you get, you're actually just one closer to a yes. One of the things I can't stress enough is practice your one-to-ones. Now, obviously, you've got team members, you've got an upline, you've got a manager. Really, really practice this because it makes such a difference. But remember, the one-to-one is only a conversation. It's nothing else. You are literally chatting to somebody. Now, what you don't know as well at that one-to-one is that person literally might be a death's door in their life. They don't know what they're doing. You could be quite literally giving somebody that branch that is going to pull them straight out the water. So always remember that. Don't ever feel, you know, scared to do it. Feel positive because you really are potentially helping somebody. Bring teach to reach planning book to next meeting. That is so that you can show your sponsor and your manager what you've been doing, because what happens with as managers sometimes, some of our teams sort of aren't getting one-to-ones and aren't getting anywhere, but actually have not done anything either. So my thing that I say to everybody is, how much money do you want? So let's say they say £500 a week. I will then say, if they're not getting any success, I will then say, can I see your activity tracker for the last 2 weeks? And it might have nothing on it. If it does, I say, well, would you pay yourself £500 a week for that? And they laugh and say no. So depending on what you want to earn, make sure that the activity that you're doing replicates that, because I guarantee you, you plant enough of those seeds in the garden will flourish. Takes longer for some than others, but it will work, I promise. Fill in your point sheets for the week. That again is just so if it helps you. Some people like that. Brilliant. The other key thing is get along to that, your live BP, your local one, because if you take anybody along to that with you, whether it be a friend or family or meet a cold prospect there, they do sign, because what it is they see a lot of people together, and it's about creating the team and the energy. It's absolutely brilliant tool. Again, booking for your next training event and success days. With the training events, what happens is, to be honest, quite often you're actually hearing the same things over and over again. But what you're getting is people saying it in their own way. So you will hear it differently. You know, you relate to different people. So it's really important. Get to every bit of training you can. Sit on YouTube. Keep watching different training people. I love Jane Leach. I always, whenever I'm going to watch anybody, I watch her. I love the way she works. So her, for me, is somebody that I enjoy. Ignore people who say it can't be done. It's true. You know what? Spend your time with positive people. Negativity in anybody's life, of any kind, isn't good for you. Be positive, and quite literally, tomorrow is another day. Just keep plodding on with your 3 to 5. If you ever feel alone, just go to your sponsor or your upline, or even higher, wherever you need to go to get that help. Go for it, because you'll never look back, I promise you. I think that's it. Is there another slide?
No, that's it. Thanks, Jo.
That's okay, thank you.
Right, I'm just going to introduce Kelly, because Kelly would like to say something. Can you hear me, Kelly?
Yes, I can hear you. Thanks, Nick.
All right, I'll just mute myself.
Hey, everybody. Kelly here. Just going to say a thank you to Nikki and Jo for the training tonight. Went smoothly, as we say. Very, very good, very informative. All I want to add to it is, to the newbies that are listening tonight, this is a weekly rolling training program. So each week will be a different subject, and it just continually rolls for the next 6 weeks. It'll just carry on 6 weeks, carry on 6 weeks. It's really, really important that you keep listening to these rolling trainings, I know you've probably listened to them lots of times if you've been on the team for a while. If you're brand new, then obviously you haven't, but just keep listening to them until it sticks into your head. I know initially when I first started, I'd never missed a rolling train. I kept listening to them over and over again. I kept picking up little nuggets from everyone that was doing the speaking when I was brand new. Regarding this 7-day plan, Joe was absolutely spot on. These are the sort of things that we need to be concentrating on now. Different ways of prospecting people, whether it's, you know, on the phone when you're out and about, whether it's through social media, whether it's people at school gates. Always try and do 3 different methods each week. Don't just concentrate on, say, Facebook solely, or, you know, going out solely. You need to be, you know, mixing it up a little bit. Business cards essential, because you do need to get these out to people when you're out and about. You might start chatting to somebody at the bus stop or on the train. If you haven't got a card, you're going to lose that person straight away. They're only cheap from Vistaprint. I think my first one's cost me about £6 for a couple of hundred, but they are definitely needed for everybody, even if you're brand new. Making calls, if you're unsure, then you need to start practicing on your other half, or your child, or your mum, or anybody you feel comfortable with. Have a natter with your best friend and just practice what you would say when you pick up the phone. The one-to-one, again, it really needs to be practiced. If you're brand new and you're thinking, what on earth is the one-to-one, do not worry. If you're an established team member, then you need to be able to do a one-to-one yourself. All the slides are available on foreverknowledge.info, and I think they're also on your login as well to download onto whatever device you want. If you haven't got a device to download them on, you can actually buy the paper flipped chart copy from your login. I think it's about £5. That's brilliant to keep in your bag at all times in case you bump into somebody you want to have a rattle with them. The Teach to Reach is now what we call the First Steps to Manager booklet. So if you're wondering what the Teach to Reach is, don't worry, it's called the First Steps to Manager book now. You need to take this to every single planning meeting that you have with your sponsor, and you also need to know it yourself if you've got team members, so you can explain it to them in detail. The points activity sheets I'm going to be popping onto the group tonight. Either save it and print it off if you can. If not, take a screenshot of it, or save it onto your iPad, etc. And just work out your weekly totals. We're going to be going through that a lot in the next few weeks. It's essential to see where you're actually putting your time and effort in. Training events, the next success day is obviously fully booked, as loads of people on the team fail to get tickets and they're trying to get them from people who are selling them. They're like rocking horse poo, to say the least. I would say if you're serious about this business, you need to get your tickets for the next success day, which is September, and you need to get them tomorrow, payday. Just get your tickets out the way, because they will be gone, and I mean completely gone within a couple of weeks, and you'll be gutted again if you miss going to the success day, because they are absolutely brilliant. I'm going to be starting a weekly training again, which is obviously additional to this training on a Sunday. I think we're going to go with Wednesdays again, because that's what we used to do each week. I'm going to be starting to cover a certain subject each week, just so we get all the basics into the team. I hope everybody's okay with the new system that we're working. If you're not, please shout up. Don't just sit there and say nothing. We've had a lot of new team members join in June. I think there's over 50 new team members. We need to make sure that these new team members are getting the right startup information, they're getting tagged in the new post, the welcome video as well on Supreme Team Business Builders group. That's the only 2 things that we need to, make sure that we're fully up and on board with, so people aren't getting lost and not getting the right information to get them started. Please also don't forget to add your team members, your newbies, to either Kelly's Forever or Fit Berries if you're in the Berry team, or whatever weight management groups you use. Please don't forget to add them to that group as well, because there's a lot of newbies that aren't being added to these products groups. People are forgetting about them now because we've only got the one group. We still have 2 groups. We've still got the products group. Everyone needs to be added onto there as well. Brilliant again, Joe. Thanks, Nick. I'll leave it with you. Good night.
Good night, Kelly. Thanks. Well, that's it for this week. Thanks everybody for listening. Have a good evening and have a good week.